Hello, everyone. I am just checking, make sure my setup is working. There we go. I am streaming here. Everything is good. Oh my gosh, I think it's working. Amazing when technology agrees with us and works. So, hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you might be in this world. Thank you for listening, whether you're live or you're listening to the replay. Thank you for joining today's training session. We're going to be talking about conducting a skills inventory and doing a gap analysis. So to start off, to introduce myself in case you do not know me, I am Dr. Tracy Schroyer. I'm really excited to guide you through this process. I've been doing career coaching for just over 10 years now, specifically for mid-level professionals, and I appreciate and enjoy every piece of and every part, all the pillars that we cover within career coaching, and especially here in the Career Development Club. If you are here with us today, welcome. This is one of first of many of our weekly trainings, and I'll be sharing those topics as we move along each week with you. So make sure if you're not on the email list, drop the word list below and let me know, and I'll reach out to you and make sure we get your email. That sends reminders. I may eventually actually have a calendar so you can embed into your calendar for future trainings as well to have reminders pop up. But today we're going to talk about evaluating your skills. We're going to talk about creating a plan for your professional growth, which was so important. And so many people have trouble with that. And so many clients I've had recently have said, I don't even know what I'm good at. And believe me, you are good at a lot of things, and sometimes it just takes another perspective to be able to help you to hone in on what are those things, what are those skills that you excel at and that you're really good at. And if you hadn't seen my post from earlier in the week, I'm very, very excited because LinkedIn has changed. They used to only allow 50 skills on your profile, and now they allow for 100. So it's really important to figure out, target what are those skills that you put on there and that you make sure that you have on your profile, because those are picked up when people are looking for individuals, not only for jobs, but to network with and projects, or to be a part of an article or whatever that might be. So it's really, really important to have those keywords, not only in your resume, but now in your LinkedIn profile, to have those key skills listed in your profile. So the things that we're going to cover today, we're going to talk about skills inventory, what it is and why it's so important. We're going to go over the steps to conducting a skills inventory. We'll dive into performing a gap analysis, and we'll create an action plan so you bridge any skill gaps you've identified. And then we'll wrap up and see if you have any questions. So I believe I can see on my phone here. So if you are listening live, I should be able to see the comments here, and I'll check those probably more towards the end of our call so I don't interrupt us in what we're doing. One other thing I wanted to share with you, and I'm trying to find where it is on my desk, possibly. So there is a free career inventory that you can access, and I put it in my bag already. So a career checklist that you can access, and that is if you go to site.tracyschroyerphd.com/skills. You can get that free checklist emailed to you, and it's a front and back two-pager that goes through the different pieces, the different skills, and has you kind of figure out what you have, what you don't have, and you can go from there. The other nice thing, I'm actually going to grab it because I want to show you some of this. It's really nice. Actually right in front of my face. Okay, so the skills inventory checklist, I will show you here. See if you can see this. It might be because I have a blurry background. Let me change that real quick. Okay, here we go. So the skills inventory checklist looks like this. It has core, technical, personal development skills. Role-specific skills are over here on this side, specific to the role that you have. And then on the back, it has some, upside down, reflection questions for you. So it's just an easy 2-pager, so you can kind of go through and just do a quick check of what the skills you have are. If you want to upgrade, and in addition to getting that checklist, we have for $15, and this is at site.tracyschoyerphd.com/workbook. It's /workbook, I'm pretty sure. You can get the skills inventory workbook, and this is 18 pages, and this actually walks you through the different skills section and looking at your proficiency level, and then taking any notes and kind of walking you through how to make that plan and figuring out, where am I now? Where do I want to be? It even gives you lists in the back of things that you can do in some of those different types of sections or areas to advance your skills. So it's more robust and a lot of great information in there. So if you want either of those, can't remember, or you can't remember the spelling for those, drop either checklist or workbook in the comments, and I'll make sure I get you the link for those. Those are really, really helpful in addition to what we talk about in today's training. So let's get into it. What is skills inventory and why is it so dang important? So a skills inventory is really a comprehensive list of the abilities, the competencies, and the qualifications that you have. It includes things like core skills that you have, which if you get the checklist, you'll see there's a listing of core skills on there, technical skills that you have, and some different soft skills or professional development skills that you may have. And it's really putting together a comprehensive list of what are these skills, where am I at for. So right now, the skills inventory is just, here's an inventory of all the skills that I have. So what you can do is take a moment, and we'll do that here in just a minute, to list out your skills. But the reason I want to talk to you about a skills inventory and why it's so important is there's several reasons why it's so important to understand all of the skills that you have. It helps you to identify your strengths as well as areas that you may need improvement, especially if you're going into a different role, different industry, different organization, that kind of thing. It helps you to make sure that your skills are aligned with your career goals and where you want to go. So if you're somebody who wants to go into a leadership role, it will make sure to figure out, do you have those skills? Do you need to work on those skills? What does that look like? It enhances your self-awareness. This is really important to your professional growth and making sure that you are aware of what skills you have, what skills you need to work on, what skills you don't have. And it gives you a clear guide for your professional development. It also really helps you in thinking about all of those things I just mentioned. It helps you to figure out if I don't have a certain skill or I need to improve on a certain skill, maybe that you wrote down, you're kind of like beginner level, do you even want to work on that skill? And some people say, no, that's not my cup of tea. That's not the direction I want to go. And so maybe having the basics or not having that skill is perfectly fine. What you'll typically see, and we'll talk about too, is in job descriptions, they talk a lot about different skills that you would need. And those ends up being some of those keywords that go onto your resume. Hence, also including those skills on your LinkedIn profile, now that you can include even more, so that they are picked up in any kind of searches that are done on LinkedIn. So first step that we're going to take is you're going to list out all of your skills. So we have core skills, and you don't have to group these at this point. You just brainstorm, throw them down on a piece of paper. Core skills are things like communication, problem solving, and leadership. Technical skills could be data analysis, the software proficiency. So a lot of times people think of technical skills are very much the programs that we use. Yes, and there are those other things like the data analysis, programming, different skills like that. So you can list down if you know how to do programming in different software or different programming, different coding, that kind of thing. Software proficiency. Do you know Microsoft Office, things like Word, Excel, Outlook, Teams, Google Drive, Dropbox, like think about all of these kinds of things. And then the next one, the next category is soft skills. So things like teamwork, adaptability, emotional intelligence. So what you're going to do is take a couple minutes and I'll pause. I'll set my timer for about 2 minutes. So whether you're live or you're listening to the replay, you could take this time to jot these down. So what I want you to do is jot down all of the skills that you can think of that you use in your current role or the last role that you were in, or that you've used in the past at all. Don't worry about organizing them yet, just brain dump. What are those? So either open up a document on your computer or take a piece of paper out and write these out. So let me give you 2 minutes now to do that. All right, about 30 seconds left, and then we will move on. All right, we will stop there. We will let you in the next section if you need to take a little bit more time to write some more down, you're more than welcome to do that. But what I want you to do now is, now that you have your skills listed out there, the next step is to categorize them. So we're going to group them now. And there are 3 different buckets we're going to put them in. One is core. So let's use the letter C for core. Technical. So a T for technical and S for soft skills. So let me go over again what each of these mean. So you can even start to mark them on your paper as I'm talking through those. So core skills, let me give you quite a few examples for core skills. So communication skills, this could be verbal, written, electronic, the nonverbal, those kinds of things for communication skills. Again, these are core skills. Problem solving, time management, teamwork, leadership, creativity, critical thinking, adaptability, and organization. So that's a little bit of a laundry list of those that I have for core skills. The core skills you might need to have in the role that you're in. And a lot of those would be similar across a lot of different roles. The next one is the technical skills. And these are not just programming, software, things like that. And let me pull up a list that I have of more robust list of some technical skills here. So if you have data analysis, if you have things about coding, if you have project management, that's more of a technical skill. Any software proficiency, those are technical. Basic technology skills like troubleshooting, common computer issues, email management. Sometimes we don't think of that more as a technical. Spreadsheet management, knowing how to navigate around and work those. Presentation skills is considered a technical, so use of PowerPoint, maybe Canva for presentations or others. Digital communication tools such as video conferencing tools like Zoom, Teams, and the others that might be out there. Another technical skill could be document management. So this could be like the use of PDF tools, of cloud storage and drives, and that knowledge of how to use those. Those are technical. Another one that's considered a technical skill is social media proficiency. So being able to navigate and post and respond and upload things to things like LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube, X, Instagram, like things like that. Those are a technical skill as well. What you will have to remember is when you go to, if you go to use your skills and you're applying for a job, that those things are applicable to that job, of course. But right now we're just putting that master list of all of our skills together. And what's the last one? The last one is soft skills. So these are things like emotional intelligence, personal development, self-motivation, stress management, networking, continuous learning. So hopefully with me reading off some of these, you've thought of even more to add to your list that you are skilled at, whether it's beginner, intermediate, or advanced. So I'll give you 2 minutes, and then if you need to add more skills to your list, you can definitely do that. But I would also encourage you to use that C for core, T for technical, or S for soft skills. And if you're working electronically, it's probably easier to like copy, paste, move them, maybe make a table with 3 across and put those into those buckets. Otherwise, you could just mark them with the C, the T, or the S. Or if you're a little cray-cray like me, except I can't find the rest of them. I must have left them somewhere. Different color highlighters you could use, or different color pens or something like that. But let me give you 2 minutes. So if you want to add more skills and also categorize, you can do that during this time. All right, just about 30 seconds left. All right, so time's up for this section. So hopefully you were able to categorize those into the core, the technical, and the soft skills, no matter how you were able to do that. It doesn't have to be pretty. It's only you looking at these. The next step that we're going to take is rating our proficiency. So how good are we at each of these skills? And this is where I talked about like beginner, intermediate, advanced kind of thing. We're going to use a scale from 1 to 5. If you want to think about it, you could do 1 as a beginner, 3 as intermediate, and 5 as advanced. And what I want you to do in this next, we'll do like a minute and a half maybe for this one. I want you to be very honest about how proficient you are with the skills that you have written down. And I want you to put a number, so from 1 to 5. And if you're stuck, whether you're beginner or intermediate, maybe it's a 2 then, or intermediate and advanced, you're not quite sure, it's 4. Scale from 1 to 5 next to each of those skills. And we will go on to the next step here in just a moment. So I'm going to set the timer for a minute and a half. And again, you're going to be rating your proficiency. So how good you are, be very honest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A 1 is more beginner. A 3 is more intermediate. A 5 is advanced. So we'll go ahead and get started. All right, you have about 30 seconds left. This is where we're rating your proficiency. All right, hopefully that wasn't too hard or painful for you and you were able to see kind of where you're at. If you have not finished the proficiency, please feel free to take some more time to go through and do your ratings for that. Just maybe make off to the side the scale from 1 to 5 and what those are. And you're more than welcome to finish that piece later. Wanted to fit as much as I can into this 30-minute training. So what I want to move on to now are steps that you can take next. I will not give you time during the training to do this because these are going to be a little bit more involved steps. What I would advise you to do is take some notes as to what are the steps that you need to take, the tasks that you need to do to complete these remaining steps. So the next thing that I'm going to encourage you to do is perform a gap analysis. And sometimes what people do is they look at, okay, here's the skills that I believe that I have. And they're like, well, I don't know if I need to improve on this, or unless your manager, or your peers, or whoever, gives you constructive feedback to get ideas of what you need to improve on. And you're also like, I don't know what else. Like, am I missing something? I don't know if you're like me and you always feel like there's something missing. Like, I can't have captured everything. So for this gap analysis, what you're going to do, what a gap analysis is, first of all, is a process where you compare your current skills with the skills that are required for your desired role. So that might be the role that you're in now, and you're trying to analyze whether the skills that you have meet where you're at. Maybe you're trying to get a promotion and you can get a job description for that job and get some insight, even maybe from people who have done that job. And so you have more of that description, that job description, which is really helpful because they have a lot of keywords and skills listed in job descriptions. Or if there's a job at another company, maybe you start to look into job search engines and you find a type of role or you know the title, and you can pull up some job descriptions so you can see what those are. So a gap analysis is really going to help identify the gaps between where you are now. We rated our proficiency just a minute ago, and where you need to be to fill those skills and to be on track, to be able to move on up or over or whatever it is into that desired role. So the steps involved, you need to first identify what are the required skills. So I just mentioned that if you're able to get a job description, you're able to get insight from maybe somebody who's in that role or maybe the manager of the role. So you could figure out what are the things that I need to start working on? What are the skills that I have on my list? What are the kind of gaps? If I look at, maybe they mentioned something that you need, you didn't have that on your list, but you do have some of those skills and you just missed it. So kind of where are you at in order for you to make an action plan from that. So you take those required skills once you have those in hand, you compare them to your current skills to see first off, for the skills that are required for the job that you have, where are you differing in the proficiency that you likely need? So a lot of job descriptions will say a basic understanding of, and they might list like a software package, or they may have extensive leadership experience or something like that. So you can kind of get a feel for what level that you need and kind of where your skill set is at. The other thing you can do, so you can identify the gap between where you are today and what you need in those and be able to identify that. The other thing is you can identify the gaps of what skills do you not have at all and that you need to build up on. One thing that I've worked on with resume clients in the past is they looked at a job description and they're like, okay, I've done payroll specialist roles, but I've never used this particular software. And so the hard thing for them is they can't put that payroll software on the resume because they don't have experience using it. But we go back and we talk and we say, hey, well, if you could do, maybe it's a Udemy course or a LinkedIn Learning course or any kind of free courses out there or credible YouTube videos and start to learn about that software. Even start to pull up articles about the difference between this software and the one that you use and the names of those. And you do a compare and contrast, kind of see what are the differences, what do you maybe need to learn a little bit more of so you can be even more intentional and focused in the training that you're going to do. That is going to help you to put your best foot forward and to engage in the skills that you need to and the pieces of those skills to make sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck or your time. So you can identify those gaps by looking at, again, what's that desired role? What are the skills that you need for that role? And I mentioned some ways to do that. The next thing that you're going to do after you identify the gaps that you have, and it's really good if you have gaps because then it's clear what you need to work on, right? If you have a lot of different gaps, you may have to take a moment and take a step back and prioritize. And typically in the job description, you can get an idea of what are some of the more necessary skills that you need. And I would say also if you have some skills, but you're missing some, are those ones that are missing from your skills list required for the job? Like, is that something that you're going to need? And those might take priority in what you need to look at. So if you have a lot on the table, what you have get for gaps, maybe that's how you can look at it and prioritize it. But from here, what you're going to do is create a practical action plan of what you can do. So you're going to take and put together an action plan of how can you bridge these gaps. So your action plan should include SMART goals. So if you need to go back, you can take a look at what SMART means, but it's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And so much so many more people are able to achieve their goals if they're smart and they're organized that way, as well as if they're written down. And then even more people achieve their goals if they get accountability. So if you share those with other people or maybe one other person or something like that, but making sure that they're aligned in that fashion. So let me give you a couple of examples. So for instance, if you need to improve your data analysis skills, your action plan might be that your goal is to learn advanced Excel functions. So your action steps from here could be that you enroll in an online Excel course and you have a deadline of 1 month to do that. So that's a pretty clear what the goal is, what your action is, and when you're going to do it by. So another example is, let's say you want to improve your public speaking skills. So the action could be that you join a local Toastmasters club, which is well known for helping people to do presentations, to work on their speaking skills. And your deadline for that to join that club is 3 months. So you'll have time to find one. And maybe there's small tasks that lead up to that goal and that action that you can take in the meantime. Maybe it's pulling up the site and seeing where some of those locations are. Maybe it's talking to somebody who has done Toastmasters or is in a local club, that kind of thing. So those are just a couple of examples. This doesn't have to be hard and it doesn't have to be scary. And you don't also have to do it with every single skill that you have a gap in. Start with two. Pick two and start to write them down and kind of figure out what is the goal, what is the action you're going to take, and when are you going to take it by. Accountability is going to help you so much more in writing it down, like I mentioned. So make sure that you do that. So take a few minutes, draft your action plan to help you identify your skill gaps. Make sure you include the specific steps and the action and the deadline that you're going to take. So what I would like you to do in closing, I know we're a minute or so over, is really reflect on what you've learned today in this training and how you can apply it to your own career development. We are all in different stages of skill development and all have different skills, which makes it awesome because we all have that diverse perspective and experience that we bring to the table. Continuous learning and improvement are keys and critical to our success. So keep this process ongoing. It is definitely not a one and done. And revisit your skills inventory on a regular basis. So maybe this is something that you set up on your calendar for every 3 to 4 months. And you take a look and see, okay, where am I at? What are the next two skills that I have to work on? Or what, being able to celebrate and recognize what you have accomplished, acknowledging that. And then what is the next thing that you're going to dig into? Or maybe you didn't have the opportunity that you thought and you didn't keep it top of mind in front of you. And so you need to take different action and get accountability to help to make sure that you do that. So making sure that you're continually using this process and it's helping you to build up your skills, to enhance your skills, whether those are new skills you need for your desired job, whether those are existing skills and continuing to strengthen them. I hope that this way of thinking and being able to brainstorm all your skills, identify the gaps there, and building out the action plan is helpful for you. I know several other people that have done it and been very successful. So let me know if you have any questions. I don't see anything in the comments at this time, but drop a note in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions or if you want to even and you work through this and you have an item for your action plan or a couple of items for your action plan and you want to drop those in the comments, feel free to do that and I'll give you feedback and I will cheer you on and uh, and and we'll go from there. So thank you again for your time, and I look forward to hearing how this training was beneficial for you. And the trainings are going to be a little bit different every week, so hopefully it'll hit different people within the group looking to focus on their career development. And I will share more information about our topic next week. Again, a quick reminder, if you have not already, drop the word skills in the comments if you want to access a copy of the skills inventory checklist, which is front and back. It's a quick checklist and a couple of reflection questions that'll make sure you get access to that. And then the other thing is that if you want to upgrade to the skills inventory workbook, this is an 18-page comprehensive workbook walking you through a lot of what we did today, but even more, and giving you suggestions on what you can do as far as actions and next steps. So workbook is the word that you can plug in below if you want to know how to access that, and that's $15, quick and easy to get that. So thank you again, and I hope you all have a great day.